So we have a question from a viewer on voting issues. We had a question a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to combine them, and I guess I'll look to you because I think you're sitting on elections, if I think you said. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with you, Senator Eakin. This viewer is concerned about voting rights for felons and thinks that we should expand those rights somewhat. And then a couple of weeks ago we had some discussion about advancing the primary from August, which, as the viewer said, no one's in Minnesota in August. We should have it in June. So I'm not taking a stand on either of these issues, but I'll start with you. Has there been discussion about either of those issues?
There has been discussion of both of those issues. As far as the felons voting, there are many other states in the country that allow it. We're actually in the minority of states, I believe, that do not allow felons to vote after they've served their time, after they've done, served their penalty.
North Dakota. What we're really talking about here is the probationary period, or the period that follows their service.
Right. And North Dakota is one of those states that allows felons to vote, which is right next to my district, and it results in some confusion. There's a lot of people going back and forth between North Dakota and Minnesota, and people who moved over from North Dakota sometimes have gone to vote thinking that the rules are the same or the laws are the same in Minnesota. And actually, that's the only issues that we've had come to the surface. Remember when the issue of the photo ID came forward, the only examples being used were where there were some cases where some ex-felons had voted and had gotten in trouble as a result. Again, I think it was a result of confusion. So that issue has come up. There's the JRLC, the Joint Religious Leadership Council or Conference. They were down just recently, and they were expressing concerns that if you don't allow people who have had troubles, been in trouble in the past, to rejoin society, that they're going to continue to be problems into the future. And so they were advocating on behalf of that. And the other issue, as far as moving the primary up, I don't have a strong feeling on that one way or the other. I guess there are some good arguments in favor of moving it up, and that you shorten the primary season, and then the general election season will be longer, which and also I guess there's the issue of participation. Participation is abysmally low in the primaries especially. And I don't know when the best time is, if June would be a better time as far as encouraging people to get out to vote. It was very bad this last time around in August. But there's
in a state like Minnesota, you'd think we should never vote in the summer, right? Everybody's off at their cabin. Is the felons voting a bipartisan issue in the Senate?
It is, yeah. We've had some bipartisan,
yeah.
So it is a bipartisan issue, not one that falls along party lines at all. And
someone observed they had never expected to see Tony Cornish and I as co-authors on a bill, and we're both authors on that bill. So.
And what's the effect of that bill? Why don't we tell our viewers what we're really talking about? What would that mean if
after they've served their prison term? But there's this period. You probably know the terms right. More than I, but they would regain the right to vote. And it would just enfranchises a group of people who have been disenfranchised.
And the courts have indicated to me that it really makes things a lot easier for them to keep track of and so forth. So they're behind this, as far as I can tell.
And I would just say there may be felons, albeit they're released, that are the kind of felons, but maybe never, at least in my view, should they ever vote. But on the other hand, there's also felons, these fifth degree felony things and so on. It's unfortunate, in some cases, a bad night out, and people get tagged with these things. They're on their record. They're otherwise good people working about society, all amongst us. But they had that one bad night out, and they got this felony conviction, and they're labeled for life. And it's not only voting; it's getting jobs and patient care situations and so on and so forth. I really think we need to look at that.
We believe in second chances.
All right, a viewer from, and I should just mention because we had some confusion on this 2 weeks ago. People were wondering why we couldn't move the primary back to September. That's driven by issues with military ballots, which is why I think the legislature was forced to move it from September to August, or at least that's what we learned on this program a few years ago. So I pass that along for whatever it's worth.
I do sometimes wonder, though. I mean, we get stuff around this world pretty quickly now, FedEx and so on and so forth. patient specimens coming to Rochester or overnight virtually, so whatever.
Federal government, take it up with the folks
Yeah,
in
right,
Washington.
yeah.